Well, the coffee will work in a minute.
Yeah, we're open coffee.
But because we have increased our awareness because of meditation, we don't take it out on each other when we are tired and when we feel a bit frustrated over nothing.
We try to observe ourselves, like
Yeah, that's right.
Like-
And not the other, but ourselves. Yeah.
Ahiranta was like gone off to the bog, and I'm sat here like, and I'm thinking, I'm observing like my face, like tiredness, like tension in my face, tension up here. So I focus on, come on, relax it, like, you know, what if you're tired, it's strange. You use up more energy being more tense because you're looking for somewhere to comfort.
Yeah.
And so you're tensing more. So it's like you thought you're on your last bit of energy and you try to burn that up quicker. Or something in you automatically does that. It's like a subconscious thing. And you only recognize it when you meditate, when you observe yourself. So it's a lot of strange thing that goes on with us people. And it is, I mean, I'm 66, right? And I'm still learning things about this body, inhabiting in this human body, and all this requirements to keep it balanced in energy. And you know, so you push it out a bit in the night, you know, one night of the week, and then suddenly all through the week, well, after the week, you're kind of out of balance. You're not quite yourself.
Yeah, it's all about energy. Everything is about energy, inputs and outputs, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you also train almost every day, don't you? You do exercises almost every day.
Yeah.
And especially when you do your squats, the leg workouts, they drain your energy. And you become quiet. But normally, when we are sitting somewhere, you always chat. Yeah, you chat normally with me. And when you're tired, you become more quiet. And I think quietness by many people is seen as moodiness, because some people use silence as a weapon, isn't it?
Yeah, in a way though, even that moodiness, right, is there to take energy. Because when you take energy, when you have power over someone, or you suddenly impact somebody with a mood, and suddenly you got power over that person for that moment.
How they react, yeah,
And
you have power
you feel
over.
a little bit better.
As
It's
some
strange,
people
isn't
do.
it?
I don't like that.
Yeah, but it's a strange language, you know, when you got that controlling mechanism, isn't it? There's all kinds of control mechanisms.
Yeah, but when you
That's
make
one
a
of them.
conscious decision no longer to control another human being,
Yeah.
life becomes so much more beautiful, so much more easier.
But I think that's on a subconscious level. It's like you have to be really aware to catch yourself doing it.
Oh,
You know?
but that unconsciously it might happen, but consciously trying to control another person,
Consciously, yeah.
yeah, that's just,
But we do it subconsciously.
yeah, everybody does
Especially
probably
when we
because
get
it's
tired.
animal nature, yeah.
Because when you're tired, you're more closer to that like sub-state. And that's taking over more because it's more dream world.
I think I would not call it substate, I would call it the fallback and animal instinct.
Yeah, that's good.
Because it's a survival mechanism, isn't it? Tiredness is a survival mechanism that tells you to take a step back.
Yeah, and
But
an animal, they say, is not conscious.
yeah, and in this society we have built all here together, people are very pushed for time, and there's lots of expectations put on people. Often people, two partners have to work, and if you also want children, it's a lot. It's a lot.
The trouble is now, though, it's like we were shopping in Sainsbury's last week, or the week, was it last week we were shopping? And there was two elderly people, they were older than us, they were past retirement, right?
Way past retirement.
Yeah. You know the people I'm talking about.
No,
No? You
but
don't remember?
but you are past retirement too. And
Yeah, and anyway, but I noticed that some people, I think some of us, we've become so conditioned to basically being short, irritable, short, you know, like lacking patience.
Oh, I think it's a routine.
Because of time.
They have. Don't you think it has to do with that they have developed a way of talking to the other person, that it has become a habit?
That as well. Wouldn't the point I was going to make?
No,
right?
sorry, Dory. Go on.
The point I was going to make was Now we were standing in a queue and we are quite mellow, we relax, we have a talk to the cashier, we have a laugh and a joke, and we'll talk to
Oh,
that
I
person there.
remember the
You
people
remember now, don't
behind
you?
us. Yes,
And
yes.
like really pleasant, really nice.
Oh, the lady behind the till, it was
Yeah.
like she started
Oh, she
talking
was
to us.
from that place. Where?
Uzbekistan
Yeah,
or
really
something.
interesting character.
And she was very friendly and
Yeah.
made conversation. And she helped us as if we were the only customers in the world. She
Yeah.
gave us her full attention.
Yeah, and she comes from a place called Uzbekistan.
Yeah, something like that.
Uzbekistan, and it's
Yeah.
like close to Russia because she looked like a proper Russian military woman, but she was mellow.
Yeah.
Wasn't she mellow?
Very nice lady.
Yeah, plenty of time,
Heavily
you know.
accent.
Yeah.
I have a Dutch accent, of
Yeah.
course, but she has her Uzbekistan English
Yeah.
accent.
So like we kind of click with it straight away, you know, somebody who's chilled, like we like chilled. And of course I can feel these, like something burning into the side of my face sort of thing. And I look and these two really older people turning their eyes in their head like this and,
Yeah.
you know, getting really irritable.
A bit of a snobs they
Yeah,
were,
and,
middle class snobs.
It just, if you were not very self-aware, right, you can get a bit taken in by that. You can get taken over by that because your instinct is to react. It's like, you know, behave yourself like a, you know, or take a walk in jerky movements.
Yeah. Well,
But,
that is the same as I just said by the toilet. The lady was in the toilet 10 minutes. I mean, and there's only one toilet here.
Yeah.
At 10 minutes she was hogging the toilet. And
Yeah.
I think,
I wouldn't have gone in there
shall
after
I
that.
knock? No, it was clean. I don't know what she has done there. She
Yeah.
had a little one with her. But 10 minutes, that's a long time.
That worries me, that do.
Yeah, I was really worried that I had to sit in a stinking toilet, but I wasn't. She
Yeah.
left it behind very clean. But I observe myself, my reactions too, inside myself while I'm waiting. And I really was desperate to use the toilet.
Okay.
And then shall I knock the door? Shall I tell her to? So you have choices,
Okay.
but you need awareness not to make the bad choices that creates a horrible situation, really.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, she's a human being, and all the people in the waiting queue, they are human beings too, and I sense them, and I try to make my answers to the lady that was serving us short because I did see their frustration, but
What frustration?
of the older couple. That was
Oh, in the shop you were talking.
I noticed that, and you
Yeah.
know, but the lady behind the till just really served us.
Yeah, really
I
nice.
think how everybody should serve other people because we have been served by people who don't even look up at you. I once, that is decades ago, when we still were writing out checks, I was served by a youngster and her friend stood behind her while she was working, and that youngster was doing the till, didn't pay any attention to the people in front of her. And what did she do? In those days, we wrote out a check, and we wrote out a check,
Yeah, I remember
and then we
that.
always take a little bit more. You write, let's say you have to
How
pay.
long ago was that?
Oh, that's in the 90s.
Wow. It was quite quick.
You write out a check, let's say £230, and then because the shopping is 200, you want 30 cash back. That could all be done. Eh? So what she did was she accepted the check, then she gave me £30 cash, and she gave me the receipt, and she gave me the check back. And I thought this will be a lesson to you.
Good for you.
And normally, if somebody is serving you properly, I would say, oh, you make a mistake, darling, because they get in trouble for that. But she was so ignorant, so totally not doing her job properly, that I thought, no, karma works in mysterious
Maybe
ways.
you've got to have, like, there's always two sides to every coin in there. And you've got to have compassion because
Absolutely.
you know this. I just thought of something like the reason for it is the clock, the big clock.
Yeah.
Everyone's running like
Yeah, but
robots.
this youngster behind the till had no clock. She was just ignorant.
Yeah, I know, but like they're on often how much they do in a day. In there.
That was not in the 90s. You
Oh,
mean like in In
Yeah.
Lidl, people are the people who work behind the tills. That's why they shut them off. They are, how do you call it, yearly or monthly? They get looked at how quick they are on the till,
Aye.
and they get told off if they are not
Yeah,
fast
but
enough.
it's like we are kind of brought up like to be conditioned working to a clock, a timing mechanism all the
Yeah.
time. And if we don't get it done then, you know, we are going to be behind. So we have to do everything like this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it makes, this is the title, this should be the title of the video. Something like uh, the clock, you know, the problem with the clock, working by the clock,
Controlled by the clock.
controlled by the clock.
Mm.
When are you going to stop being a slave to it?
The-
Slave to the
Stop
clock.
being a slave to the
Stop being
clock.
a slave to the
Okay,
that's the title of
that's
the
a
video,
nice
isn't it?
one. Yeah.
And
All
it's like
right.
we are we become like the animal again, isn't it? You know, it's always the animal, the instincts again.
Yeah.
And because if something doesn't work, we become like instinctive, reactive. Oh, these people are winding me up. Oh, let's be nasty. Oh, you know, it's not going my way. I haven't got control. I got to control this. Let's get nasty. Do something to those people so I can control it all.
Yeah.
And let it go, like, you know, let the
Aye.
clock go.
It takes practice,
Just,
though, eh?
yeah. And
Meditation did it
why
for
do we
me.
get tired? Right? You spoke about tiredness, like, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why do we get tired? Because we don't get the rest or the nutrition that we need. Because why? Because we're working by the freaking clock all the time.
Yeah.
There's lots of time, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know, like, I understand. I've been there, we've been there.
Oh, it made me ill.
we had jobs.
I worked by the clock for a long time.
Yeah. But when you're retired, you don't need to, do you?
No,
We're retired.
the people in the queue, they had no reason to be so impatient in their
No, no.
behavior because they didn't need to go to a job. But then again,
But we don't know, really.
you don't know what is going on in people's life. We always say that, isn't it? They
Yeah.
could just have lost a child or lost a family member or they have lost their house or
Yeah.
you don't know what goes on
Yeah,
within
exactly.
people. So we're always compassionate.
Yeah.
We will never.
That's what I was going to take it to, like, the
Yeah,
next thing.
but we do
Yeah.
observe our reactions because
that situation.
we are quite highly developed in meditation now and awareness.
Yeah.
That's why we are so happy. I
Yeah.
think that has
But
contributed
that's
to our happiness.
yes, that's the point, isn't it?
But although we are highly developed when it comes to observation of ourselves and others, we still notice our animal inside reacting to certain, but we make the choice to have the most compassionate reaction. That doesn't mean that I didn't want to tell that lady from what the hell were you doing in that toilet? The animal instinct, the animal inside of me thinks that,
Yeah.
but the compassionate person that I rather communicate from thinks, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Maybe she has a medical condition. Maybe
But
whatever.
use the one that stops it all, and use the point you get to. You're either going to miss this or you're going to go and catch it. And the thing that makes you miss it is the clock, because you want to do it quick, and you only become aware when you can stop. Right, stop the clock, and then
Yeah.
you have a moment to think.
But
It's
how-
like
how can-
I'm aggravated because I'm waiting in a queue. I want to get something done by a certain time. I want to have my coffee at that time or whatever, and I'm so conditioned to be in working by the clock that I react like, and you know, the instincts start taking over when it doesn't go by the clock because I'm trying to control my environment. Like the animal all feels secure when it's controlling everything.
Yeah.
And but when we you can say, like Ahiranta just said then, I chose to have compassion. But how do you choose to have compassion if you're working by a clock that once that second have ticked away, you're lost? You know, how do you have compassion if you don't give yourself time on the clock?
But how do
Get
we
rid of the clock.
how do we do that? How can people who have like okay, we are now in the position that we don't need to go by the clock anymore, except for the only thing that keeps us in a routine and regular is my illness.
Yeah,
because
true.
my illness is one of tiredness.
If it
So
wasn't that, it was a blessing.
I am an
really.
expert in tiredness, and you too, because you take care of me. But how about if we think back to our life before my illness, when we had to go to work, when we
Yeah.
had to pick children up from school, the children have to go to after school activities, you have to go and see your parents, you have to do this, you have to do that. How do they get rid of the clock?
Thus, you have to separate the body from the soul, or separate the body from the mind, or separate the body from the spirit. Whatever you want to call that life force is operating through this body. Separate it. The body can be under lots and lots of schedules, but the mind, or the soul, or the spirit can be absolutely still. My body, I can be working like this and doing this and doing that, but yet I can be you with you. So I can split it in two. Do you understand? So it's like when I'm doing that, I'm actually becoming liberated from the instinctive animal. The animal, allow him to work, but be aware of him and be aware not to allow him to take over the soul or the spirit or the mind.
Right.
And
So the answer is to increase your awareness.
yeah, but
Because the more awareness you have, the less you are identified with the bodily actions. Is that what you are saying?
well, the thing is, once the chemicals, the fight and flight instinct starts kicking off, which they can when you live by the clock, the animal reacts all the time. And before you know it, the soul, the mind, the spirit is flushed out. The animal, you become purely instinctive, purely washed away. You can't be aware. And the enemy that, or the sword that fights against that is being still. Uh, Right, are you going to be swept away with this instinct, this reaction? Like, they get on my nerves, they shouldn't be there. Look what time it is. You've got to stop the clock, stop the clock. And stopping the clock means you start thinking about things, and you start becoming aware. You start working
It's
it out.
being in the moment,
Yeah,
isn't
so,
it?
and when you can work it out, that's when you let go. When you let go, you come into the moment.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say become compassionate, but if you haven't got the understanding and the tools is the stopping the clock, and the understanding comes from being in the moment because you start working it out. Then you let yourself off. You don't become attached to the animal instincts anymore.
Do you know, this makes me think about maybe the the ones who have been following us for a while. They know by now that we are absolutely in love with Sweden and its culture and its country. But the Swedish people have fika.
Fika, yeah, that's all we're
And
doing now.
fika is means
Fika.
fika means making time. Let me put the
Making time
camera
for
a
one
little
another.
bit.
Yeah.
You are a little bit cramped in.
Yeah,
Sorry
get my
about
pets in.
that. So you can see his beautiful shoulders.
Oh, yeah, this one's still hurting.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't got my arm rest on today. I got it in my bag though.
yeah,
Sorry, Maria.
but the Swedish people apparently, I'm just repeating this. I didn't research it. They paid the highest tax
Yeah.
in the world, apparently. And they also are among the happiest people in the world. So how does that work? Because we always here in England and in Holland, where I come from, complain. Lots of people complain about tax, paying tax, blah, blah. But the Swedish people have another mindset. Their culture has created a different mindset than we have here. They don't mind paying tax because they are really taken care of by the state. It used to be, I don't know if they are not so satisfied now, but it used to be like that the last time we spoke to Swedish people.
How many people lived in a square mile? That's part of it, isn't it? Remember we worked it out.
64 people in a
Living
square
a
mile on
square mile,
average.
and in England it was something like
Over
1,000.
1300.
Yeah,
1300.
1,300
That
people
has
per
also
square mile.
something to
And I
do.
think that's partly to do with it.
But also, the Swedish people have two things I think that stand out. I don't think the high taxes make them happy. And then the thing I think what they do very well, and we should all look at the Swedish people and learn from that. One, every day they make time. They work, yeah, just like everybody else, but they don't work to get stinking rich, because the Swedish people have a mindset: you earn this much money, this is what you need, and then you do a little bit more, and that's enough. That's the mindset in Swedish people. They even look down on people. No, I don't want to say look down, but they talk about people who chase money. That's one. So they earn what they need and then a bit more. That's one. Two, every day they make and create a moment in the day that they drop everything they are doing, sit down and have coffee with a nice treat besides it, and are present with, or depending where they do it, present with their colleagues, or if they are at home, present with their family. No phones, no, they are having a fika moment. And I think all those little things contribute to their well-being, their mental well-being. And don't get me wrong, maybe down the south in Sweden, in Stockholm, it might be different. But our homestead is in the northern part of the middle of Sweden, as they say. And definitely those people still live a life as we prefer to live,
But
isn't it?
even there, right, there's traps set up for you. Like, make time. You listen to the
Yeah.
critical word. Make time
Yeah.
for fika.
Yeah. Or leave time behind.
Yeah,
That's another way of
but when
looking at it.
it's like, oh yeah, it's fika time soon, you know. And if you don't make that fika time, there's where the trap is. And you have to get rid of the clock. And even so, the roadmap is put out there for you. Ahiranta put the roadmap there, but you got to look for where all the traps are, where you can get caught. And this is where you need to recognize that you have to distinguish the separate. You have to invoke the separation between the body and the mind, spirit, or soul. I remember when I first came out of enlightenment, it was something has to be done, it's done straight away. And then I can let go, because that's meditation. A thought comes, or what do you call it? Anxiety comes. Why does anxiety come? Because you're worried about something that you need to control. You do what you need to do, what can be done, efficiently, effectively, on time, when it can be done, and then it's let go straight away. Then you can sit down and be at peace, because you've let everything go. You've done what needs to be done, served what has to be served on time, in real time. But the mistake or the issue is to think about it and not to do it at that moment, or at that moment that you plan to do it, that you've given yourself that break. So you do the map, you walk through it, and then it's done straight away.
Yeah.
And you can let go, like meditation. Let go, let go, let go.
But that is how you like to do stuff as well. Eh? You remember something he's doing, and then you want to do it straight away, because when you don't, if you don't do it, your mind is so empty, it will just disappear.
Yeah.
So that is why you have trained yourself and developed the habit to do something, if you think about it, that needs doing straight away. That's also why you put all your stuff in the same place. Because otherwise, Ozay's mind is so quiet, and I know it is because I can see it in his behavior and his reactions. Plus, also, I have now noticed how quiet my own mind has become because of the meditations we have done and the inner work I have done. It's absolutely wonderful, because when I just met you, my head was a whirlwind of thoughts, couldn't stop. Drove me mad, really. But now it's just relaxed. Maybe sometimes other people might say a bit too relaxed.
Yeah.
But because of that achievement, that's why I now can do this with you.
Yeah.
And I can sit in a chair again. And that is because of the inner work we have done, both of us, and you helped me tremendously there. So I do observe that how you deal with things, and I copy that. If I see that it's beneficial, I copy that. And
but it's like
I think it's easy.
Yeah, it's like a dustbin, right? Your mind. I got something to do, yeah, and if I don't keep the dustbin empty, it's going to fill up and overflow. And that's the mind.
That's the mind,
You know, if
yes.
I'm giving myself things to do and I keep procrastinating, I don't do it, then I can't sit down in peace with myself.
Yeah, and nothing
until it's
gets done then, and because we all have certain things in life that needs to be
Yeah.
done.
So what you're doing, you're filling it up with rubbish because you're not getting rid of it straight away. You're not cleaning it out. And you know, we speak about the most important thing for us spiritual people and you spiritual people out there is love. Okay, what is love? Well, I tell you what, you won't know what love is as a concept until you start emptying out the dustbin. That's your mind. And when we haven't got those things piling up the rubbish bin, when that rubbish bin is empty, there's something starts flowing. And we don't need to speak so much to each other, but there's something flowing between us, much more powerful than words. If you have to keep saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, then
it's a concept, huh?
you're filling a dustbin up of insecurity.
Yeah.
And let it go, let it go, let it go. And then suddenly you just go with that which is more real.
Yeah.
The emptiness, but the fullness of the emptiness.
Yeah.
Think of a dustbin, right? When it's empty, there's nothing in there, but that nothing is actually consciousness or universal love, and it connects to everything.
Yeah.
Even the cells inside your body, they found that the smallest particle in a cell is a vibrational frequency wrapped around nothingness. What is nothingness? Universal love or consciousness. And that's where we aim to get to. Empty the dustbin.
Yeah. And every thought is energy. So if you think a lot, you will become way more quicker tired than when your mind is empty. Because when you are in nothingness, in an empty mind, you tap into another source of energy, isn't it? And from that source, magic happens, what we call magic happens. And it's only called magic because not many people are aware of it and don't know about it.
Manipulate it. Except the people who was humble of heart and
not from a mind concept. That is, I find a tricky thing. Humble.
No, I noticed. There are differences in humanity, and geographical locating of people seems to have an effect. Like people in the country, they are less tense. If you sit with them, and they speak more slowly, like this, you know.
Yeah.
And then if you sit with a person from the city, more tense, more. And you go into a cafe and with people like that, well, they.
Yeah. Because we have to expose ourselves to this kind of environment sometimes, because we live so much away from society and we are so still that you become, otherwise you can you become too sensitive to being with other people. So you need to expose yourself so now and then to society. Otherwise it can become really overwhelming and intrusive. I noticed that after I came out of Tibet after 5 years. Life was too fast. It was too much impressions.
Yeah, well, you spent a lot of time going deep inside yourself.
Yeah.
Because you had to, really.
So you need to expose yourself sometimes.
Actually, now we're here, like, we got somebody who's meditating out in
our Homestead, yeah.
And he's going for the big one.
Enlightenment.
And by now we should be doing 3-hour meditations, coming up to 4-hour meditations, and then break from the meditation, and then, you know, have something, read something holy, something, you know, love stories to open up the love center. And he's not got there yet. And then the other day I was drinking this.
Oh, yes.
And coffee. And then I went and meditated. And I learned a long time ago that you hear the glass top ceilings, right, where you can't break through it. Well, coffee in meditation, for those people out there who really wants to go deep in meditation, get rid of the coffee.
Yeah, you
because
can't
it gives
drink
you
it now.
a glass bottom floor. because the purpose of meditation is to drop down deeper, 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 become softer, softer, softer. But coffee brings you up.
Yeah.
And the energy is an hard energy, and it's not productive for deep meditation. And so I spoke to Joshua the other day, and I said to him being from Las Vegas, the penny dropped because I spoke to him. He can't get past 1 hour. He had 2 hours, and that's the best he did. And so I'm thinking, like, and suddenly that day I done last week. I done the meditation, and yeah, it's the coffee, because I've done a lot of inner work with coffee. And some years ago, somebody asked me, and so I had to find out. So I've done a bit of my own research. Coffee stops you from going below a glass bottom. And I asked him, I said, are you by any chance drinking coffee? And he said, yeah, every morning, like, and that was it. So now I'll let you guys know how he gets on with it in maybe the next video, because I'll ask him.
And we directed him to harvest some shaka that was growing on the land.
I don't know if you guys know about it, but like, it'll be on our bush videos or van life videos.
Yeah, we have another channel. It's
called Chaga, isn't it?
Our other YouTube channel is called Happy Homestead in beautiful forest of Sweden. A mouthful, but we have another channel. Just if you're interested.
I directed him. I noticed when we went out into the woods, there was what they call chaga on a tree.
Yeah.
On a silver birch.
We made a photo and sent it to him.
And I advised him to get rid of the coffee and get some of this chaga. So he got the chaga. It makes you more clear, and it's not the effect. It's similar to coffee, but it doesn't.
It doesn't give you that. It doesn't give you that buzz like coffee.
No, it doesn't give you that glass bottom.
Is that the shaka you used that we found in a new forest? Did you try it with that? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. And so I'll let you guys know about that. And if any of you are interested in what chaga is, how to get it, well, just let us know.
Yeah.
And
leave a
maybe
comment
we'll
below.
Do a video on it, yeah?
Yeah, we could do that, or just have a search on Google, or just leave a comment below and we will answer
what
it.
I'll do, I'll ask him various questions, and we'll get to the root of how influential the chaga can be in meditation. I haven't really gone into it as deep as I could, but I do know it's not like coffee. It doesn't sit on that glass bottom floor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting. Did we have anything covered from tiredness for now? Did we cover it from tiredness?
Yeah, that was where we started from, wasn't it? It was for tiredness. So I think that...
And coffee makes you tired too, eh? Coffee makes... Because we are energy fields. And when you drink coffee, there is a burst of your energy comes together, and that gives you that feeling of well-being. But that burst of energy takes off your, let's say you have so much energy every day. If you drink coffee, it uses up, let's say, a quarter in one go. That means that at the end of the day, you need or to take more coffee, because you go in a dip. If something brings you up high, sooner or later you have to come down, and you go down deeper than from where you started from. So everything that is outside of ourselves that we use as a stimulant, there is a price to pay. And that price is tiredness, isn't it?
Yeah, there's more questions to ask about coffee, which I haven't answered all for myself, because I've not really gone into it fully as I could. But for sure, the information I just gave, absolutely am sure for myself that coffee gives you a glass bottom floor.
Yeah, if you want to meditate,
It's good for if you want to do a talk like this, and makes your brain think more.
But it will influence your next meditation session.
Yeah, that is the opposite of meditation. And even there, you see, that gives you the ability to think more. So more things come up, which is good for the YouTube. But for meditation, to speak about meditation is, I don't know why, but I always think about that. There's a YouTuber out there, right, where they interviewed Krishnamurti, who was a philosopher, and Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. And they brought them together in front of the cameras and for them to talk about meditation. This was really, it took me a while to figure it out, like what was going on, but Trungpa is supposed to be an enlightened master, right? And Murti is a well-known philosopher. And so they're there now, and you got Krishnamurti kicks off, like, and he's blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, what do you think, Trungpa? And Trungpa, he goes, like this through the video. And then Krishnamurti looks at him, and then he wants to talk as much as he can, Krishnamurti, but he wants to show how knowledgeable he is about meditation. And then he goes into another spurt, like this, and then he comes, because Trungpa is sitting there quiet, silent, and then he brings the attention to him, the camera shines on him, like, and he goes, yes, and then it goes back to Christian, and it goes, and then after a while you start thinking, these are supposed to be two people speaking together, there's only one speaking, and then, so, like, and that's how it finishes, really, and it gets a bit sort of embarrassing in a way, and then you think, like, afterwards, it's finished, right, and then it stays on him more. He never said nothing, he said, yes, and then he realised, what is meditation? Who spoke the most about meditation? Although Krishnamurti had all the words, Trungpa had the meaning. So, it was the direct experience was Trungpa, the philosophy was Krishnamurti, the mind, the heart.
Yep. Okay. That will do.
Well,
That will do.
45 minutes.
For those who have watched us, thank you.
Adios.
See you in our next coffee talk. Bye-bye.
Bye all.
Fairies when they sing and dance. Oh, I wish it was me.